Hi, this is Sarah from sarayip.com, Facebook, The Numbers Queen, and Instagram, sarayip1111, with another of my meditation tip series interviews, this time with my long-term friend and crystal healer extraordinaire, Deniz Akan. So welcome, Deniz.
Hey, hello, welcome to everybody.
Now, if you've been following my work, you'll know that actually Deniz and I have co-produced a lot of classes, and I'm excited to have her involved in this one as well, this meditation series. So, questions for you. When did you start meditating in this lifetime?
Okay, nice how you say that, in this lifetime. So I think it's about pretty much 19 to 20 years ago now. 19, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. And so you're quite established. And, was there a reason that you started meditating? Is there somebody or a situation?
I was actually living in India at the time already. And for me, when I do things, I never meditated before. And what happened for me, I really wanted to meditate. I met a lot of people who were into it. And from there, it wasn't a situation. I just wanted to work on myself, basically.
Yeah, it was just the time.
Yeah,
I can relate to that. So I guess, did you have particular teachers or courses or books?
Yeah, what I did, as I do it in life, I go extreme. Didn't ever meditate and went for a 10-day vipassana meditation, silence. I went straight in.
I had a few people actually do that. I haven't done it just yet, but it does sound very interesting. So great. Kind of from where to go. That's amazing. And so how was that, doing a 10-day retreat?
Yeah, amazing. It brings up a lot of stuff, basically. Yeah, it was amazing, just because you completely find that silence. And it's always easier to meditate on a mountain or in the out bush or in a sanctuary like that. But it was great for me to do that and to start like that. It was fantastic.
Have you done any more since then?
Not vipassanas, but different meditations.
Interesting.
And things.
Okay, that's good to know. So in your life, where does meditation help you? Has there been, a crisis where it's made a lot of difference for you?
I do it actually like daily in small dosages. But I think a few times in my life, probably when I had extreme emotions, where I felt unstable, perhaps like the carpet has been torn away under my feet. That's when I really feel it, that it really helps me a lot just to center again and find myself. When the head gets so noisy that you need to find yourself again in your heart space. That's really when it helped most for me.
Yeah, I'm finding that to be a real theme in these interviews, actually, that in a way it's like a saving for a rainy day. There's little meditation techniques that we use so that when you need to pull it out, it's there for you.
That's right. I don't actually know, quite often I reflect upon that, and over the years that I'm into my work as well, I don't know how people deal with life if they don't have tools. And meditation is certainly one of the beautiful tools you can always go back to.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really love my word magic, and when you look at the word leader, it can be rearranged to the word dealer. And I think, some people, they don't lead their lives, and perhaps they don't even really deal with their lives. And it's actually maybe up to those around them to help them to navigate for whatever reason, no judgment. But, that's where I feel meditation's made a lot of difference, especially for me, is that I am able to direct my destiny a lot more. I wouldn't say control, because that's totally a joke to think that we can do that, isn't it? But a lot more influence, a lot more sense of like excitement and satisfaction with my future and what's possible. So maybe that's one of the areas where it can really help us.
Yeah, I think so. And also, when I feel like, for me, if I have a lack of focus, or if I want to do a recording with somebody, or if I want to do a sound healing, I always take that moment of time where I just tune in and meditate.
It just resets us to 0 point. And, even before those interviews and before each reading, I have a specific meditation I've listened to like thousands of times, and it just settles me. And it's funny, those days I say I'll just skip it. Other days I most needed to do it. And almost always I will have, you know, some sort of regret. But I think it's a fine line because you don't want to get superstitious, like you have to do, you know, 13 circles before you walk into a room type of thing. You know, you want to sort of still keep it a little bit flexible.
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah, I definitely find it's this sort of loving ritual. So what you sort of mentioned that you do meditation in bite-sized chunks now. What's your current practice look like?
Okay, so I do every morning, I do a tune in, which I would call meditation. See, for me, I like to share that as well. I personally don't think meditation is just that one niche where you have to sit down and try not to think about anything.
I've done a few interviews where we've debated that.
Yeah, so for me, that's really, I think, you know, even when I'm cooking or when you guys are cooking at home or when I ride my motorbike, you know, there are moments, or on long drives, there are moments for me where I really tune inward and don't let that mind chatter happen too much.
Okay.
So, but my daily practice is usually in the morning. I always do a grounding meditation and anchoring myself into a clearing.
Yeah.
And that's my minimum.
Oh, that's nice.
And then even that, you know, sometimes I might not do it, and then I don't give myself a hard time for it. It's just a nice start for me. I feel like it's a beautiful start of the day, or latest after breakfast, you know, if I do other things and potter along.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost like a spiritual snack.
Yeah, that's right. And then, of course, I sit down due to my work, I sit down quite often with crystals and meditate with them, communicate with them, tune in, allow them to be either when I lie down, maybe have them on my forehead or just hold them. So that would be another part of meditation.
Yeah. So, you know, you brought some of your little friends today. I was wondering if you could talk about, you know, some of the crystals you brought and basically how they might help you to meditate, because I'm guessing, you know, some people watching, you will already have some crystals that you could use, and others of you might be interested in starting to explore that side. And if you were a child who collected rocks, you belong. Yeah. Because I know for me, as a kid, I was always looking for the perfect rock, and I always had so many like rocks in my pockets.
Yeah, I have bags full, literally.
Yeah. And I do it with shells as well. It's like this obsession, but. You know, it's nice to be able to express it now in the form of crystals. So, shall we meet some of your
I think
your companions?
Definitely. And another thing I like to say about these guys is where, you know, sometimes some people find it really hard to stop their mind. Even if I do a session, it's the same thing like going into meditation. And I find when you have something tangible you can concentrate on, if you can't concentrate just on your breathing, I feel like they can really help with that as well.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're sensory. I'm sensory. Yeah. I've spent my whole life, you know, chewing pens and jiggling my knee. Yeah. And I'm, you know, this is like one of my crystals, a labradorite heart. I have some very friendly looking little crystal skulls that I use. And it makes a huge difference to me, especially just the weight, I think, of it, and of course the crystal qualities.
It just takes your mind off. That's what it is. And then, for example, you have these little desert roses, and I brought them today because I thought they're so beautiful, and it's a selenite. So selenite really connects you to your higher self, to your, you know, to angelic realms, to spirit realm. And I find these little ones, they sit so perfectly in your hand.
Well, they look a little bit like angel eggs, don't you think?
Yeah.
Or fairy eggs. You sort of can imagine that one would just pop out and be, hey.
So they're lovely. And then you have a certain purpose with different crystals. And even if you just have like a little collection, everybody has probably little tumbled stones.
Especially amethyst.
Amethyst. Amethyst is great because it's for your crown chakra. You're connecting to your higher realms. You can either hold it in your hand or even in prayer position, or if you want to lie down, you can place it on your third eye and do a meditation like that.
Very relaxing, I find, to put
Beautiful.
crystals there, and you find a lot of children actually naturally enjoy that too.
Yeah.
So,
and you might even find the sensation where it feels like they're actually integrating into your system. It's like they're melting. It's a very interesting sensation. Yeah, and then another one like I would highly recommend is a Lemurian seed, Lemurian quartz, because they have, I don't know if you can see that on the camera.
The barcode.
So. Yeah, the barcode.
Yeah.
So they're instilled with healing information from the Lemurian civilization.
Now, just for the people who are watching who are not sure why lemurs have a civilization.
Yeah.
Because we know lemurs are animals, right? That was a mum joke. So just if you could just give a one-liner into Lemuria.
Yeah, so that's one of the first high civilizations that was here upon the earth, seeding the planet.
And wasn't that pre-Atlantis?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So just in case, this is kind of new stuff for you, and it's worth looking into. It's super interesting.
They were very much into the crystals and healing and sacred geometry and everything.
And a lot of those people, may have come back, and perhaps you're one of them. So this could be why you might have come across our work, and especially Deniz's types of sessions. So they're beautiful crystals.
Exactly. So they got the barcode on them, so you can sit with them. And again, instead of just trying to be super still and taking your mind off everything, you can sit there and you let your thumb actually run over it. And what it does, it will actually activate the healing information, and it will be transmuted or transferred into your system. And again, I think it's just like when you roll your fingers, it's just like you're doing something, but it has a very strong purpose and meaning. And because they're very much aligned to the growth and spiritual expansion, I think they're great for that.
Well, the hands are the tips of the heart chakras, and that's why I love palmistry so much. You can see the different chakras on the hands, and clearly you can't tamper with the lines, so they're very faithful in terms of what you have been projecting and your destiny. And obviously to hold the crystal, it's like direct line into your heart, which is of course, the seat of the soul and all of your memories. So it's a lovely way for self-healing, and it's just so gentle. And this is, why animals and children seek out crystals. I have so many stories of, especially dogs.
Yeah, I just saw like 10 pictures passing my boat.
Where they go to the owner's crystal collection, they pick up the crystal that they want the owner to use. And I'm sure some of you watching may have experienced this and just thought you were crazy, but it's because crystals are so clever and they're ancient. They're so much older than us. It's almost a joke to think you could own a crystal. I mean, really. The crystal's probably having a good chuckle at you.
Yeah, they definitely choose you. And that's another one I like to share. So that's, even the shape of this might be very good, because it's, they call it soapstone, just because it looks a bit like soap. But this one is a peach selenite, so it really assists you to connect to your divine feminine side especially. So that one is also really good between your solar plexus and heart, like lower heart. It's great on there. But yeah, just to hold that one, I think that would be another beautiful one.
Well, we've used that in a lot of healings that I've had, especially as a 11-2 life path, doing a lot of healing on my sacral. So look, that's a whole nother conversation. And Deniz and I actually recorded a class on crystal healing and clearing, which I'll put a little link at the bottom. But so I've got, I think, one more.
Yeah, that's my favorite at the moment. He's only a new friend in the family. It's a prophecy stone.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's found in the Libyan desert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Traveled a long way.
And it's really nice. It feels kind of heavy, and it helps people with vision. That's why a lot of people grab these guys.
Yeah.
But I just found, I don't know, it has some other quality to it. And because we've just becoming friends since only a couple of days now, it's like I'm still working it out, but it helps me to feel so anchored within myself, not grounded as in tourmaline energy, but it's finding my balance within self. And I feel like it is like after a 5-hour meditation.
Amazing.
Like just sitting with this for a little bit. Yeah.
Well, thanks for introducing all your little friends. And I guess when I first met Deniz, I was quite skeptical of crystals, having shut down my own abilities as a child. But yeah, over time I've become very sensitive again, especially after having children and working in the spiritual field. And I do feel these days that everything is alive, including crystals. And like Deniz said, they do choose us, and that's why sometimes they just wander off because they're done. Yeah. I remember I've got a friend, every time they get a smoky quartz, it just disappears. It's just not the right crystal for them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because just to watch their ego constantly buy them and be like, you're the one, and it's just gone. Just like a hole will appear in their pocket and fall out.
Wow. Yeah.
And things like that, just such a beautiful reminder, as I mentioned, that, what is ownership? It's really just more of a concept, isn't it? I mean, really all we do is we have this beautiful, amazing body.
Yeah.
that I can think of in terms of ownership, and it's still this very movable relationship. So
yeah,
starting to wind up, what would be your tips, Deniz, for people who struggle to meditate, whether it's regularly or at all?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to get out of your own thought pattern about it. So not to give yourself a hard time if you can't sit still, if you're like jiggly and have like ants in your pants, that's fine. And I think it's really important, actually. I don't think you have to sit on a mountain and meditate like a monk.
It's fun to do, I think, as an experience.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But
it's
it has to be said, there's so much competition. I mean, have you seen the photos of the queues up Mount Everest now? I mean, it's become a pretty fashionable, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like we've got to still just be so creative, especially if you do have other responsibilities.
That's right. It's life, hey? And we've learned it in the last 2 years. You really have to go with the flow and come up with be spontaneous and but I think just don't give yourself a hard time. Do it like eating an elephant, bit by bit, bite by bite. Just sit down and
chocolate elephant, of course.
Of course, exactly. Me. And it's that don't go for too much if you think you can't reach it, because then your expectations of yourself can't drop that much either. So
I am laughing because you're the one who said I had no meditation experience and then did a 10-day retreat. So
true, but that's my kind of way how I do things.
And I think maybe that's part of this interview is what works for you, what makes you happy. And look, Deniz and I, we would both be people who we eat the whole pudding, those types of people, in order to see what's underneath it.
Yeah.
And if you're that type of person, I'm like, go for it. Just book in, do the thing. But
try.
If you're not, that's okay too.
That's right.
And everyone has a different way of finding their sweet spot, so to speak.
And try different options. The breathing meditations, or listen to something, or have a crystal. There's so many options to do meditation. It's not that one narrow view to meditation.
Yeah, I really like the movement ones.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
So whether it's shaking or dancing or basically ones that involve yoga or chanting, I find them much easier to do.
Absolutely,
the type
I love
of body I have.
I do the ecstatic dance or expressional dance or 5 rhythm dance, a lot of different dances. And you just move your body so much, and you allow your body to really move how it wants to move. It's not like dancing in a club.
Yeah, you can even have like dancing in the dark where they don't have really the lights on, or just very low. That's very freeing, especially if you have a mixed relationship with your current body.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned it, because really that's my top favorite to do. And even by myself at home. I just put music on and do it. And then, you go through different music, you allow your body to move, and you will feel all these old worries and like tensions that can leave. And at the end of it, when you come down into a lower vibration, into slower music, what happens? Your mind is completely set free, and there's nothing, there's stillness, and you just end up being on the ground and just enjoying that. And you can look it up online, even 5 rhythm dance, and you can just
chakra dance. There's so many. So and well, that's great. I'm really glad you mentioned that. So how can people find you?
Yeah, it's either on my website, dimensionalhealing.com. We can put a link down there, and your information as well.
I'll put your socials in there too.
Instagram as well. It's the same, Dimensional Healing. You'll find me through Sarah. If you look up through her Facebook page or Instagram.
Anywhere I am, usually there's a Deniz hanging around, and vice versa. Definitely, we were meant to be here at the same time this lifetime, weren't we?
Yeah, thank goodness. Again. Yes.
It's interesting. I mean, you're only a little bit older than me, right? But wouldn't it be funny if I was supposed to be born at the same time and I just was late? That'd be so typical, wouldn't it? That'd be hilarious. It could be absolutely.
I'd be like, Sarah, where is she?
Deniz has partly German heritage. And you're always on time, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I was 5 minutes late today, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 5 minutes
She's sweating. And then me, so like Sarah standard time.
Yeah.
So I just say, quite possible.
It's a good,
That's the reason there's a very small age gap. Well, look, I hope that you've enjoyed this exploration of, again, a meditation style and how someone very cool, has integrated into their life. Thank you, Deniz, for sharing your story. So as we wind up, I like to just throw in a teeny bit of numerology.
Okay.
So we know from your date of birth that you are 28-10-1 life path, so 1 life path.
Yeah.
Which of course is the pioneer, the black sheep, the catalyst, the first 2 in the family tree. I can definitely see that with you. One of a kind type of person. Well, what was happening for you around 28, your turning point in terms of your life path?
Okay, 28. So I was living in India because I lived in India for 7 years actually. And I would have been right halfway through partying really hard in my life and finding the other balance, the other side, going, I think this is getting a bit boring now. And it would be about that time when I met a circle of people that were into meditation. That would have been the time I got introduced to crystals.
Yeah.
And also, where I started to change my life.
Wow, that's interesting and makes sense. So India's actually got a 28-10-1 vibration, as does Turkey and Egypt.
Wow.
I mean, that one energy is often, I find they have these healing abilities, especially hands-on or ancient medicine. And 28 has the vibration also of starseeds. So there's definitely some sort of link there. I met a lot of people with that energy who are able to do pretty amazing things.
That's so interesting also because I'm half Turkish. That I have that in my chart as well, and living in India. And and I would have around that time also probably done my first Reiki initiation. I'm just thinking
so interesting.
So actually a lot of things happen.
Well, and if you want to know your life path, I'll put the link down the bottom. It's a very easy calculation and it can open the book of your life purpose, and it's so amazing once you start using it, of course, with your loved ones. And there's so much forgiveness that can come from this practice. It's simple, it's free for the most part, and it just opens the mind and the heart again. So thank you for sharing your meditation tips and also that little bit of your numerology magic. So I'll put some links at the bottom, and thanks everyone for following the series, and we look forward to your feedback below. So this has been Sarah from sarayip.com, Facebook, The Numbers Queen, and Instagram, sarayip1111, with the amazing Deniz Akan from Dimensional Healing. So thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everybody.